Wow. Hi, I'm an addict named Maria. Woo. You know, when we were planning the trip to come down here, I was like so excited to be in a room full of addicts and, you know, to actually get to touch and hug people again. And I never in a million years thought I would get the honor of introducing my sponsor to you. She is the most incredible woman that I've ever met in my life. She was with me before. I relapsed with 9 years, and she's been with me again for the last 7. She does not give up on us. She is part of the reason why I picked her as my sponsor is because I want to be a strong, independent, you know, self-sufficient woman. You know, right? You know, I want to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. And what I've got with her is so much more than that. You know, she's introduced me to things that I would have never even tried. You know, and every time she shares, I make sure I show up because every time she shares is something different. I learn something new. And without further ado, I give you Denise A.
I'm Denise, I'm an addict. And I just want to say thank you, Narcotics Anonymous. But before I go any further, you know, it is the year 2021. It's the year of the selfie. Gotcha. I want to save this moment for fucking ever. It's not really a meeting unless you got a selfie. And to all you who are worried out there, don't worry, I will not be posting you on social media. I mean, it's been a long journey here, right? I was supposed to chair the meeting a year ago, so I had to give up on saying it in my head because it was a long time and I didn't know if we were ever going to get here or not. I did a great meeting at 4 a.m. Y'all missed it. But I'm going to do my best tonight to carry a clear, concise message of Narcotics Anonymous. I want to first thank the Florida region, the Florida Regional Convention of Narcotics Anonymous number 39 for what an amazing job you guys have done. All the committees, all the people who've done service, and everyone who got a paid registration. You know what? Y'all need to give yourself a hand. And I'd like to shout out a special thanks to Stephanie, who took my 100 and something text messages, emails, etc., and replied promptly, efficiently, and effectively every single time. So I want to shout out to Stephanie. I can't tell you how honored and how grateful I am to be here tonight to celebrate recovery in Orlando, Florida with this region. And Bay Area, you know, I don't know if I'm taking contributions. Anybody from the Bay Area? You got some money over there. I'm still working on myself. Kudos to you guys for getting that banner and donating a lot of money to this fellowship. I also want to give a welcome to anybody who's on Zoom and for all the people who thank God that are able to come here, who love me from far away and are able to show up and be with me tonight. I'm forever grateful. So, before I always chair a meeting, whether it's, last week I was at a convention in Chestertown, Maryland, and I did Maryland! Come on, guys, you could do better than that. So last weekend I was in Chestertown, Maryland at the East Coast Convention of Narcotics Anonymous, which is a convention that donates all their money to buy basic techs for people in prison. They donate them to prisons. Yeah. And I did a workshop there, a meditation workshop, on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. there, and there were 7 people in attendance, and I was as honored and as grateful to do that workshop as I am to be here. So anytime I have the opportunity to carry the message in Narcotics Anonymous, it's a gift. Narcotics Anonymous has saved my life. And so I have a little ritual that I do before I speak where I pray, I meditate, and I read some literature, and I write some notes. And so the notes are always for me. Sometimes I share them with you, sometimes maybe not, or whatever. And I always write in the upper right-hand corner that I need to have fun and I need to tell the truth. And we're definitely going to have fun. The truth we'll see how it goes. Woo! It's been a wild year, right? Mask be gone. I want to thank whoever did this amazing. And the person who did the design on this, are you here? Where are you? Stand up. Woo! Okay. Right. So, last year when I saw the theme, Living the Dream, I wasn't really feeling it. But this year I really feel like I am living the dream. And so as I attended the meetings here in this grand ballroom all weekend long, I was looking at all the banners, right? And I saw words like freedom, hope, love, faith, seeking, vision, miracle. And when you put all those things accumulated on all those banners, all those years of service, all those years of carrying this message, you end up living the dream. And so, 39 years, that's a long time. My clean date is April the 28th, 1987. So I've been around a long time, not as long as this convention, but a long time. It's amazing what happens here in these rooms. 3 years ago, 2018, Courage to Change, I was here and my ex-husband was the main speaker. We were married then. We're not married today. I don't know if I'll tell that whole story or not, but we haven't really, it's been a pretty, crazy situation where a lot of things happened and we had, so let me just backtrack a little bit. I came into Narcotics Anonymous. I was 20. I'll leave you hanging on that story. I'll come back to it though. So I was 26 years old when I got here, right? I was definitely not ready to get clean. I didn't even know what that meant, right? Some judge thought it was a good idea that I come here, right? So at the end, you know, I was an addict way before I ever picked up a drug. But then again, I don't know, because they would put alcohol in your teeth back then when you were a baby, right? When, you know, here, give her a little alcohol, that'll help. I mean, that's the kind of family that I came from, right? So, you know, my first memory of pure addiction was, I was about maybe 4, I might have been 6, I'm not sure. I was in a closet and I was eating a bag of stale donuts as fast as I could. And that little girl in that closet, stuffing those donuts in her face as fast as she could, had a thought, and it said, "There's something wrong with you." See, she knew. She knew, but there was nobody came to help me. Nobody rescued me. Nobody said, "Oh, there's a fellowship for you." None of that, right? So I just went about stuffing things in my soul, right? Until I end up, fast forward now, I'm probably maybe 19, maybe 20 years old, and I'm in a hotel room, okay? The week before, my girlfriend Gina was killed in a car accident as a direct result of this disease on Christmas Day. Not that it matters, right? Anytime somebody dies from addiction, it's a terrible thing, but for some reason, that Christmas Day thing had some kind of significance, and even though we were all using, we were still upset about it. So anyway, you know, the holidays go by, now it's New Year's Eve, and we're partying, right, in a hotel room in Baltimore, you know, downtown Baltimore. We have a party, we're drinking, we're getting high and all that. And I remember her boyfriend, who was in the vehicle with her at the time that she got killed, he didn't have a scratch on him, but he's at the party. And the bedroom door was cracked open, and he was in there having sex with another woman. And I remember looking in that door and thinking, there's something wrong with you, Denise. The way that you're living, this is not okay. But again, nobody popped up and said, "Hey, you want to go to a meeting in Narcotics Anonymous?" Right? So I just took another drink. I just continued to do what I had been doing. Had a baby in there, had a husband. I don't know where they even came from. Right? So, okay, now it's 1987. It's like March of 1987. I'm no longer with my husband. I'm with his brother. That could tell you a lot about my morals and values. They were both drug dealers, and I was not self-supporting. So, when the ex-husband cut me off, I moved on to his brother, and I'd like to share this. If there was a third brother, I might not fucking be here. There's only 2 of them. So long story short, me and the brother are living in the house. That's me and my husband. So I don't know where the husband is. He's with somebody else doing something else. And so we have a big fight. That morning. You can't even make this stuff up, right? So we have a big fight that morning, and he takes all the drugs, right? We're drug dealers. I got, like, back then you had VCRs and all kinds of stuff in my house. And so he leaves, and he does what all good drug dealers do. They go across the street to their mother's house. I proceeded to use what little drugs I had managed to steal. And I was taking, you know, like the sink apart and electrical outlets, and I had a brick wall where I used to stash rocks in there. It was freebase and cocaine back then. But so I was like out of my mind, and I had a bottle of Tuinals, and I proceeded to kill myself. And I say that lightly because I was very dramatic. I was taking one pill at a time to see like how long it was going to take. I had a picture of my daughter hanging on the mirror, and I was all snotting and everything, like, oh my God, this is my life, how to end up here, and all this stuff, you know, just like we do, right? And then I was taken and I was cutting on my arm because I wanted to see if I took enough pills, if it was going to hurt, if I slit my wrist. And then I realized that I was going to die, and I made an attempt to crawl to the kitchen to get some food and water to try to save my life. And my phone is ringing in the background, right? My phone is ringing in the background. You know, I'm pathetic. I'm everything our literature talks about. You know, I'm desperate, despaired, miserable, all of it. Humiliated. So I don't answer the phone because I haven't, you know, people been, you know, my ex-sister-in-law was leaving nasty notes in the door, you know, you're in grace to the family, you're with him, and all that kind of, I'm not answering the phone. So anyway, somebody knocks on the door. Well, jump up and look out the window. And it was a woman. And back then, in 1987, they sold Avon door to door. So I told you can't make this shit up. So I thought, it's the Avon lady. But I don't use the side door, the front door, I use the side door, so I just tell her, come, I'm gonna open the door. I'm half dead. I mean, so when I opened the door, I'm gonna tell you what, it wasn't the Avon lady, because the Avon lady don't carry guns. It was the Baltimore SWAT team. And they got me, he's peeking out the window across the street from his mother's house, and, you know, they carted me, they rescued me. And, you know, I remember what ended up happening was, you know, I got released from central booking. I was, you know, 12 pounds. Never seen that again. And I had some change, and I went and got this gigantic cheesesteak. It was gigantic. And I carted off to my mother and father's house, and they had got me a lawyer, and the attorney was there, and I was eating this cheesesteak like I hadn't ate in a month, because I hadn't eaten in a month. And I remember him looking at me and saying, "We need to get you some help." He sent me to this therapist, and she's deceased now, but I thank God for her, because in 1987, Narcotics Anonymous was not in every therapist office. It was not on every corner. And this woman knew about the disease of addiction. And I went to her office, I parked my car like in the middle of the downtown, and I walked because I was paranoid, because I could still see myself. I had these blue pants on and this white shirt. I can just see how I looked that day. It's burned in my memory. And I got to her office, and she said, "I can help you with all these things," right? The husband, the kid, the parents, all of it. She said, and then she said the most profound thing. She said, "I can't get you clean." And she handed me this little schedule to Narcotics Anonymous. And then she said the most outrageous nonsense I ever heard in my entire life. She said, "If you want me to go to court with you, you need to go to a meeting every day." Every day? I got shit to do. And nothing. Zero. I didn't even know I had a kid anymore. But you know how we are. We get out of trouble, get out of jail card. So that's what I did. Somebody took me to a meeting. I remember I got there, right, and I know that the most clean time in our area at that time, in that meeting, my first meeting, probably, if somebody had 2 or 3 years, that was amazing. I think the person with the most clean time in our whole, it wasn't even called a region back then, it was probably had 6 years. But anyway, the person who chaired the meeting that day did the most outrageous freebasing cocaine drug log I ever heard in my life. And I was sitting on the end of my seat, right? Because that day, that message was for me. I was attracted to that. And so when I sit in meetings today and people do drug-a-logs, I got my meeting. I know sometimes the meeting isn't always for me and I need to sit down and shut up. Yeah, you can clap for that. So what ended up happening is, I went to live with my mother because I had a house. My mother was taking care of that because she was a good enabler. Yeah, right, thank God, except for narcotics. She called the Narcotics Anonymous hotline and she asked them what could they do, and somebody in this effing fellowship told her not to give me any fucking money. And every time I share, I'm like, who was that? First time my mother asked for help and took a suggestion in her life. So I was laying in my mother's house detoxing. I think it's like April 13th, her accountant secretary quit, and everybody knew there was something wrong with Denise. And so he was like, what's Denise doing? And he said, my secretary quit. Now I had secretarial skills. And so she said, she's coming to work for you. She'll be right there. She came home. She told me, get out of bed. You got a job. You're going to go to work. You're going to go to a meeting, and you're going to come home and take care of this kid. What kid? Yeah, I don't know if my daughter's on a Zoom or not, but sorry, honey. Oh my God. So I did, right? Because, we're humiliated. We don't have nothing, what are we going to do? So, live in her house, so there I go. Anyway, I ended up working for that guy for a few years, right? He taught me all the things I need to know to financially, take care of myself. I didn't make any money there. I had to, move on. But and he's still my accountant today. I actually see him frequently. And but anyway, the miracle that really happened in all that is right down the street. Now it's 1987, and right down the street, every day at noon, every day, Monday through Friday, is a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. And that's where it happened. I don't know how it happened for you, but I went into the new meeting, and John was there. John had on a white beater t-shirt and black biker shorts, and now it's kind of like July, right? My clean date's April 28th, it's July, it's hot, he's sweating, and I couldn't wait to get to that meeting and watch John sweat. And today I know he was detoxing from drugs. Because he had a bicycle, not a motorcycle, a bicycle. Back in 1987, there were not Mercedes and, Harleys, and even broken down Harleys or some shit out there, but it wasn't like it is today. It was different. We were all just holding together, and there's nothing wrong with the way it is today. Thank God it is the way it is today. But if you're here and you're new and you're riding a bicycle, good for you. Some of these old timers need to get their goddamn bike out of the shed. Get the dust off of it, right? Get a little exercise. Okay, somebody's going to be mad later. So I didn't know that I wanted to be clean. But I think, what happened to me is the message of Narcotics Anonymous reached down and touched my soul. I have never left this fellowship. If you have and came back, that's okay. That's not my story. I've never left meetings. I'm a meeting maker. I heard everything in the first couple meetings that I went to that I needed to stay clean forever. Pray, go to a meeting, don't pick up no matter what. That's part of our program. If you pick up, you're not working the Narcotics Anonymous program. Pray, go to meetings, don't pick up. Get a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever, and then get a sponsor. I told you I was going to tell the truth. Or just stare at somebody, whatever you got to do to keep it coming back. Get a sponsor, get a home group, get a position in your home group. When you're able, you sponsor people, you help somebody, and fellowship. If you ain't having fun, being clean, you might not stay. Right? I was looking for fun. And to be honest with you, I was caught up still in the disease of addiction for a long time, and some days I still can be. Right? I'm still working steps. I just did a 7-step. I hope my sponsor, Don, I hope you're on here listening, because I love you. I don't have trouble calling my sponsor. I love her. She's there for me. I've had 3 sponsors since I've been here. I have a home group, I have a commitment in my home group, and I have a commitment outside of my home group. I've done H&I. Right now, the H&I commitment that I had at the Baltimore County Detention Center for women is shut down. So I immediately got on a convention programming committee that's going to be the longest commitment of my life. Because due to cancellations, it's been canceled to like 2023. I'm like, can't we take a break and come back like later? They said no. So I'm really grateful for the Zoom platform because we don't have to leave our house. I mean, for our committee meetings, it makes service a whole lot easier, right? I know that through this pandemic, I know for me, I went to meetings. I went to both meetings and to virtual meetings because I'm a meeting maker. I went and found places where people were having bonfires and doing whatever we needed to do to continue to carry the message of Narcotics Anonymous. I had COVID, I survived. I'm truly grateful for that I wasn't really sick, and I'm really, really saddened by the members in this fellowship and their families and all the people that we lost because of COVID. Through COVID and the disease of addiction. Because I don't know about here, but where I live, people are dying like crazy. This disease is no joke. It's fatal, progressive, incurable, but it can be arrested a day at a time. And so it says in our literature, it's before the intro in the basic text. It says this in our literature. It says we cannot change the nature of the addict or addiction. It says that. We cannot change the nature of the addict or addiction. But then on the front cover it says, many books have been written about the nature of addiction, but this book primarily concerns itself with the nature of recovery. So when I came to Narcotics Anonymous, I lived in the nature of addiction. And what Narcotics Anonymous did for me is it gave me a choice to live in the nature of recovery. And every day that I wake up, I get to choose. And I need to do the work behind what allows me to continue to see clearly and make the choice to live in recovery. When I got here, I did not know. I was not a 35-year-old heroin addict. I did not know if I wanted to stay clean. But you might not know that either, and it doesn't matter, because what I'm going to tell you is that you can choose to live in recovery and you never have to use a gun. Narcotics Anonymous is a program of complete abstinence. Hello. A program of complete abstinence. And whether you do need to take a drug or not, it says in our literature, in the basic text, it's somewhere in the basic text, but it says there is no safe use of drugs for us. Even if you do, because sometimes we do need to take medication for whatever reason, there's no safe use of drugs for us. So when we do, we need to remember that. I need to remember that, right? I just had back surgery on January the 8th. And I tried all kinds of things not to have back surgery, but none of them were effective. And so I opted to have surgery. And when I left the hospital, I asked for like 6 pills or something, and when my daughter picked up the prescriptions, it was like, enough pills for all you guys. I'm like, what in the heck, because people say, like, that people, I'm not a doctor, but I know about recovery. I know what it takes to stay clean a day at a time for 34 years. I would never tell anyone to not take their medication. However, I do have a lot of experience with staying clean. And so I called my sponsor when I got home from the hospital. I was still numb. I had no idea how much pain I was going to be in. And we made a plan together, and I took 1 pill. I took 1 pill, and she said, go to bed. If you wake up at this time, you can take another one, and then we'll talk in the morning. And I didn't wake up. I slept all night long, and I woke up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I looked myself in the mirror, and I said, Denise, do you need any more pain medication? And my recovery said, no, I don't think that you do. And I took that shit and flushed it down the toilet. I don't know your pain, and I'm not going to say that I wasn't in pain. But no, I would prefer that pain to a relapse. And that's just me. And I did ice, and I did everything that I needed to do, and slowly but surely, like here I am, today. And the surgery wasn't as successful as I thought, but I'm gonna deal with it one day at a time. And that's how I've learned to live my life. I know that I have a disease that wants nothing short of my life. And I don't need to use drugs. No, I know. There's all other kinds of things. We're all, whatever it is. Food, sex, gambling, shopping, cutting, purging. I went to treatment twice clean for an eating disorder, smoking cigarettes. I don't know if anybody told you this lately, but that is an addiction. I had it. It's not a judgment, it's just the truth, right? And it was a very hard addiction to give up. Caffeine, all that. I'm probably as clean as I've ever been in my entire life, and I prefer it that way. I'm not a slave. I'm still a slave to some things. I'm just going to throw that out there. I do have a slave. So, anyway, I don't have a slave. I'm not a slave. I'm taking applications though. It'll be virtually downloaded on no. So anyway, all right, let's talk a little bit about relations since I'm taking it down that way, and I don't have a lot of time. All the other speakers fucking ran over, so I can't see the time. Oh, let's call that. I need glasses. I need binoculars. So anyway, I got here, I met John, right? Me and John hung out, we went to meetings and stuff. And, you know, John was a very nice-looking Italian guy, dark hair. Like I said, he wore his little shirts and all that. And I drove him around, and we had a good time. And we were sitting on my bed one night, and he just was running his mouth. And I just said, John, you are really handsome, but you need to shut the fuck up. Needless to say, that didn't work out. And I just kept it moving. So for 15 years in Narcotics Anonymous, I'm not going to say I was single, wasn't married. I was, that's something in between there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I had a few little, short, stints. Sentences. And at 15 years clean, I was dating this guy right before 15 years clean, and it was so much fun. We were traveling all around, sliding, rolling down waterfalls and stuff in Mexico and everything, and I realized it was high. I'm we make bad decisions with clean time. Hey, I was clean. He said he was clean, I believed he was clean, until I didn't believe it anymore, and then he had to go. No, he had to go. That's my experience, So anyway, 15 years clean, through service in Narcotics Anonymous, right? And the man who I married, we met, he had 15 years clean as well. And through helping others, we ended up meeting, and we met, and we were together for 17 years. And for a very long time, we had an amazing recovery marriage. And life happens. I knew that he was ill when I met him. I thought that love could rise above all things. And maybe it does, I'm not sure, because the jury isn't out yet, but anyway, through a series of events, a lot of things happened in our marriage, and our marriage did not survive. So we met in service, and we stayed together happily in service for 17 years. 16 of it pretty much was good. And then I haven't seen him but maybe twice in 3 years. And when I came to the convention tonight, I had a thought last week, because we did everything together. We shared relationship meetings. We did everything right. Right? I used to say that if you do right things, you get right things, or whatever. And what has happened is my perspective on life has really changed. But anyway, so when I showed up here at the convention on Thursday afternoon, the first person I ran into was him. And it was a little weird. I was like, "What are you doing here?" He was like, "What are you doing here? You know how we are." Like, get out of my fucking meeting. And then everywhere I went, there he fucking was. And, we had some casual conversation, right? Where our marriage is not reconcilable. We're not going to reconcile. We're not. But what I know is that what I said is we met through service. We stayed together through service, and we're gonna fucking heal through service. We prayed together before this meeting. Because Narcotics Anonymous is about healing. It's about forgiveness. It's about moving on and living your dreams. And I didn't get here, just walk up here and all this happened. No, it was hundreds of phone calls to my network. Hundreds of phone calls to my sponsor. Step work, prayer, meditation, meetings, helping people. Even when I didn't think I could go on because my heart was so broken. Life around here life is not easy. It's not just people in recovery. What happens is when we get clean, we get to live life like everybody else. It's a privilege. The God of my understanding, I'm still on that path. God for me is the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. It's good, orderly direction, and it's the spiritual principles of this program. When I live in spiritual principles, I'm closer to God. And when I'm not, well, I need to get back to them. So I've been dating. That's been interesting. You got anything you want to say about that? I told her if I got up here and I couldn't talk, that she could just keep it going. She could talk about intercourse and vaginas, penises. In the names here we got like Carolyn, but not with a C, so it's Erilyn. And we got Ozzy over here with a G. God, I'm like, what the heck? Can't remember anybody's name. Yeah, so, dating has been interesting. I was like, shit, I thought I was going to be married forever. And so, we talk about red flags in here, we see the red flags. Well, when I see red flags, I think I'm at Six Flags. Woo! And I'm going to tell you what, I just got off a roller coaster. I'm like, shit. He needs to get some help. Yeah. You know, when I got here, I thought that Prince Charming was in Narcotics Anonymous. I lived in a fantasy, first drug fantasy. I thought Prince Charming was in Narcotics Anonymous. Okay, and if you think you're sitting next to him, he ain't fucking here. And let me just say this, because I have to speed up my story a little bit, right, because it's modern times. He's not on Facebook dating either. Or Tinder, or any of them places. No, he's not, right? Because I'm still thinking he's somewhere. Where is he? Oh, cut it out. You're not. So the journey continues. You know? I kept coming back because of the men, and maybe I still keep coming back because of the men. You know, we're here to live our life and have. I don't see anywhere in our literature where it says, "I'm not newcomer. I'm not telling you to get in a relationship," but I can't tell you that because that's not what I did, and I don't know. It's not in our literature. There is no 13-step or 14-step or any other. There's 12 steps. Yeah, well, I ain't even going to go there. I was going to say, I'm going to end it with that. So I have one more story that I want to talk about before I end. This has been so much fun. FRCNA fucking rocks. So there's a woman, her name is Carolyn Mace, and she's not in the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous, but she tells this story. And I'm not going to tell her story. What I did was I interpreted it into my story and into my recovery. So, you know, sometimes around here, there are relapses. Relapse is happening. And the person maybe who's relapsing, or maybe there's an old timer sitting here who just isn't feeling it. And maybe this might help you. Maybe you've never worked the steps of Narcotics Anonymous. Okay? So what I want to do is let's see. So there's a tall building, right? You're in New York City. Go ahead, New York. So you're in New York City, and you're on the first floor. And it's loud, right? There's traffic, there might be some violence, there's a lot of people, there's sirens, there's fire engines, there's paramedics, and it's real noisy. Okay, that's the first step. You're on the first step. Okay, it's noisy, it's loud, it's not, it's crazy on the first floor. And you get up to the second floor, and it's a little bit better, but you can still hear all the noise. You might even hear, kind of in Baltimore, you're likely to get shot if you're on the second floor. Okay, and you go to the third floor, right? You're on the third floor, and it's a little bit better, but you can still hear all the noise. I'm going to take you up to the 12th floor. Right now, you're on the 12th floor, and when you look out, you see the horizon, and you see the water view, and you can see the sunrise and the sunset, and you hear it's peace and quiet. So what I say to you is I invite you to come and take these 12 steps with us. Because the view is better from the 12th step. The steps have changed the way I see the world. The steps have changed who I am. And it will continue. I will continue to choose to be in this process. I'm going to end with a reading from The More Will Be Revealed. And again, I just want to thank everyone for supporting me and making this such an amazing experience. Can't tell you. It's on page 103 in The More Will Be Revealed. It says, Narcotics Anonymous offers addicts a program of recovery that is more than just a life without drugs. Not only is this way of life better than the hell we have lived, it is better than any life that we have ever known. We have found a way out, and we see it works for others. Each day, more will be revealed. Thank you, guys.